In this video, we will look at how ARISE can be used very effectively to keep speculation as low as possible in the starting stages of a project. So, I hope most of us would have encountered the situation where we thrive amidst a lot of ambiguity when the requirements, definition, effort really gets kicked off. The result is that when speculation is really high and you try to do a lot of work in a speculative stage, that work will be subjected to change, and the change that happens as a result of speculation that gives rise to rework and waste, and there's a cost associated to rework and waste. So at the starting stages of the project, what we really need is a clear cut but a cost effective way to get conversations kick-started that will give more insight and clarity on what is it that we need to plan and define as a part of our requirements definition effort. So ARISE provides a really powerful way to do that. There's a facility within ARISE called as the whiteboard, and this whiteboard, you can see it under the chapter scenario within the directory panel. So when you take the directory panel, you have the chapter scenario, and when you open up a scenario, you get to see the whiteboard. The purpose of the whiteboard is to quickly sketch out scenarios and have conversations kick-started over it, and really drive more insight and clarity into your plan and definition efforts, and decide which are the relevant scenarios for getting to business value and which are the ones that you can send to the chopping block. So at this phase, I would like to show you a typical scenario ideation. So say we are going to define or ideate over the scenario of a registration process, and we want to capture the registration details, and once the user decides to go further, we want to confirm what he entered in the registration page in a confirmation page, and from there we want to give him the access to initiate a login based on the details that he register in the previous step. So the elements that make up the scenario or the whiteboard, the elements that give life to the whiteboard, are basically present here. This is a page, this is a decision, this is a cloud which designates backend actions, this is a sub scenario, and this, as you know, is a start of the process. So here in this instance, let me go ahead and include a page called as register page. Okay, after register page comes confirmation. After confirmation comes cloud, real-time updates. After cloud, say let's include a process called as login. And just by a simple drag and drop, you should be able to sketch out the flow really quickly. What we need to keep in mind is that the effort is to just gain clarity and not to do an extensive business process modeling in the whiteboard. It's not designed for that purpose. It's just designed to get your conversations kick-started. So apart from sketching out the scenario, obviously you have the option to color code your elements within the scenario. So here, let me go ahead and color code it with red for the pages, green for systemic actions, and sub scenarios, let me color code it with blue. It's not absolutely required, but there's an option to do the same in case the organization follows a specific standard. So using a very lightweight approach, you can quickly sketch out a scenario, get your conversation started, and what we need to remember is that we need to give a meaningful name to the scenario. So let me give a name with a number 0.10 user registers personal details. Okay. So keeping a track of these scenarios and having conversations initiated around them clearly gives us a sense of direction, and we can clearly decide which are the scenarios that are relevant for early delivery of business value, and we can have our analysis focused on those scenarios and do iterative requirements definition around those relevant scenarios. So it's a lightweight way to plan and define your requirements definition efforts. In the next video, we can take a look at how we can move away from a ideation phase and translate it into the next level of fidelity using requirements, using the analysis phase. Thank you.